5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me just say, apropos, Mr. Kirk, of your last name, how horrified I was to see reports that Charlie Kirk had been shot at an event today.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just awful. The increasing degree of political violence in this country is a threat to everyone. I want to ask you, Mr. Kirk, about the firing of the other inspector generals. If you would have this position, it's obviously vitally important that you be independent, that you apply the law as it's written, that you be willing to confront anyone in the executive or any other branch of government if they're acting in a way that is wasteful, abusive, or illegal. That requires you to be able to speak truth to power. And so let me begin by your understanding of the law as it applies to inspector generals. What is your understanding of the law? What does the law require before a president could fire you if you became inspector general?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I appreciate your acknowledgement of the role of the Inspector General as being objective and independent, and I am absolutely committed to objectivity, neutrality, independence in the role of the Inspector General. As I mentioned previously, the matter of the termination of the roles of the other Inspector Generals is a matter currently pending in litigation. I think it's inappropriate for me to speak to that matter.
Well, I don't agree. I think it's very appropriate and necessary to speak to this. We need, among other things, some assurance that an inspector general will apply the law as written, not apply the law as the executive would like it to have been written or would like it to be. As that law is on the books, as the Supreme Court has not somehow found that law unconstitutional, it is the law of the land. I think it is also a deeply important law. How, Mr. Kirk, if even a law that requires cause or notice is not to be enforced, how can you have any confidence that should you find the administration engaged in some kind of misconduct that you won't simply be fired as a result of making any findings?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. As I mentioned, I am absolutely committed to unwavering adherence to the principles of independence and objectivity, and I will conduct audits and investigations and report findings consistent with that obligation to be completely independent.
We had a hearing last week with members of the board of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and I asked them, the 3 members of the board, including the chair, are you confident that if you were to decide a nuclear reactor was unsafe or a design for a new reactor was unsafe, and you said so, are you confident that you would not be fired? Can you be confident you could make that decision and still hold your position? And the first 2 commissioners said, well, candidly, no. I couldn't be confident that I would not be fired, and the chairman basically said, I'm going to make the right decision on the merits, whatever happens, but it would be speculative what would happen should I make that decision. And the problem with it being speculative is it shouldn't be speculative. You should know that if you do your job, regardless of how you're finding cuts, that you're not going to be fired as a result, that there's some safeguard in law or in practice, or both, ideally, that will insulate you. Otherwise, you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. I understand your reluctance to answer the question here. There's no reason you can't, but I understand your reluctance. But if you're unwilling to answer a question like that before confirmation, I don't know how you're going to answer that question after confirmation. And this is the challenge we have. It's not a reflection on your background, but it is a reflection on this moment and the need now more than ever, I believe, to have inspector generals that are willing to say it like it is, even if it displeases people in the Congress or the administration or anywhere else. Madam Chair, I yield back.